All right, I want to take a little bit of an alternative track on saving money. Of course you save money once you get into sobriety, but I think there is a much deeper thing that goes on here. I think you change your relationship with money to a certain extent. I just found it a lot easier to spend money when I was drinking. When I was drinking, I think I just had a different relationship. When I was drinking, I mean when I was drunk, in the cold hard light of day, when you're back sober again and you're looking at your finances, that's a different story. But when I was drinking, I had no problem buying that first drink because, you know, the anticipation, you are looking for that anticipation, you know, you're thirsty, that first pint is easy. But then the second pint is a bit harder to do, right? It's easier to pay for the second pint than it is for the first one because you're already a little bit inebriated. Everything seems to be a lot easier for you. There's no problem for me paying €5 for a pint of Guinness, and then I'd skimp on other things in life, you know, and I'd think, oh well, I'm not paying that much money for that. You know, it was easy for me to go to bars because I was a single parent. It was, you know, finish my day's work, go home. It was a dark house. There was no food there. I had to cook my own dinner. And it was easy to go into a pub. It was nice and warm. All my friends were there. The barmaids, the bar. It was just all welcoming, so it was easier to do that. I suppose there was a time there when I was spending €1,000 a month in the bars, not just on alcohol, but on other things, you know, on food and snacks and all that kind of stuff. And there's also money that is spent on peripheral stuff. So you come out of the place, you're spending money on fast food. On the way home, you're spending money on taxis because you can't drive home. You're spending money on hangover cures the next day. You're spending money on food the next day because you can't be arsed cooking because you've got a hangover. And there's so many different things that money just seeps out of your pocket. Now, of course, I mean, I'm not spending money on alcohol or peripherals anymore. So I'm saving all that money. I mean, I did a calculation at one stage and I figured out that when I was drinking, I was spending about 20 grand a year on alcohol and everything else that was involved in alcohol. But it's not just that. It's more important to think about the money that you're losing because you're drinking alcohol. All that time and energy that you're putting into alcohol, you could be putting into something that is more productive. That's one thing that I discovered, and I never realized it about myself, you know. I mean, it's an obvious thing, isn't it, that when you're putting money and time into one thing, it's a choice, and then there's a trade-off that you can't put that same amount of money into something else. So that's something that I've redressed in the last 10 years. I generally like to think of money as a store of energy. You know, you in general have to do something. You've got to either work, you've got to have a business in order to generate money. So you're putting energy into something and you're getting money in return. So think about it like a battery. You know, I do something for you, I transfer my physical energy in some form to you. You pass me some of your physical energy in the form of money. So, you know, you've made your money by putting your energy into something, and that is your store of energy. And then you pass it to me for services. So it's like this exchange. You know, of course you can use your energy in other areas of your life. I mean, out here walking, I'm doing this gives me a great buzz and it's a big part of my life. But in general, more money equals greater opportunity, which equals greater productivity, which equals more money. You've got more money in store. So taking it back to drinking, think about how much money is just leaking out of your system, leaking out of your pocket because you're a drinker. Now, like I said, money is not the be-all and end-all of everything, but imagine what you can do when you've got a week with no hangovers, when you've got a month with no hangovers. Imagine what you can do with 10 years of no hangovers. I mean, I never thought about this when I was drinking. It's just something that passed me by, but it's just amazing how much progress I've made in the last 10 years, not just in terms of money. I mean, like I said, money is something that you just transfer your energy as a store of energy that you can use for later on. But I think the most important thing for me was I changed my relationship to money. It was something that I had, you know, I went out working during the week and I earned my money and then I spent it. I saved little bits when we wanted to do things, but now I understand that concept of, you know, my time and energy is the most important thing. The most important thing in life. When I was drinking alcohol, every step forwards I made, there was 2 steps back. Because I was hungover, because my brain was fried, because I lost faith in myself, because I knew that no matter what goals I set out for myself, no matter what things I set out for myself to do in the future, I wasn't going to get them done. And the reason why I wasn't going to be getting them done was because I had that insecurity, that lack of self-confidence, that lack of self-esteem, but most importantly, that lack of belief in myself, my own capabilities to do things. So I just thought to myself, you know, fuck it, might as well go drinking again, you know. Ever since I've stopped drinking alcohol and I haven't had that crutch to fall back on, it's been one step forwards and then another step forwards and then another step forwards and another step forwards. And that's just the way it works. You know, if you put your mind into this, it's all about choices and trade-offs. So you can choose today to have a drink or you can choose not to have a drink. But whatever you choose, you're going to get the trade-off for that. You're not going to be able to do the other things because you're drinking. And you're going to get the consequences because of that. So it's up to you. Now, I think if you want to really know the benefits of stopping drinking alcohol, here's a great video to watch. I think you should watch that one next. Take care of yourself. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.